And after 5 episodes, he's finally on. It is the leader of the Varrock Rams, quarterback specialist, defense specialist. It is Mr. Sharnos from the Varrock Rams. Hello, Sharnos.
What's going on?
Nothing much. How's your day been?
Good.
Good shit. Has Sirs been hitting on you recently?
Yeah, you need
Okay.
to stop that gay shit already.
I hope so as well, but well, I'm not a part of that. So anyway, now, finally we have, there is no introduction to be told for this man. This man, okay, he might not be the best player in the RFL, but do you know what he is? He's the journalist of the RFL, right? He's the man behind the Wikipedia page. Let me just play his intro for you again. Turn the camera on. It's Andy Hammel. He's about to go fuck your mom. He's gonna play some quarterback and tackles, and then he's gonna fuck your mom again. What?
I don't think it's here. I think he left.
I
I think he's gone.
Good scrim.
Well,
scrim.
I mean, it was a nice podcast. Well, thank you for coming on. I mean, if Badiak's not here, what's the point, right? I don't.
You're one true love.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna.
Be more.
Oh wait! Let me replay the song. Oh shit! This Nectarado, no good. Buffalo Soldier, Mr. Badiak, Andrew. Would you like me to say your full name?
Go
ahead, I don't care.
Or Mr. Andy Hammel, how are you? And can I just say, what is this recurring theme of dressing very smartly on this show?
Sirs is inspired.
I heard that Sirs
Sirs?
wasn't going to be on the show, so I had to carry on the tradition.
I like it. It sounds like Sirs is slowly setting a trend for the
Good idea.
podcast. Yeah, I love it. You're all looking very smart. But yeah, Badiak, how have you been? How's the Minecraft grind?
I've had a very good 3 or so days of digging a hole and making the hole bigger.
Okay, can I also ask you?
Right now.
Can I also ask you why you have a fucking fan club in my stream? As soon as you come on, they all start spamming this gay shit.
I didn't even try loading your stream, honestly, because my connection was just too bad.
Yeah,
so
same.
I can't
Okay,
answer
but
that for
what?
You're gonna need to read the stream out to us, by the way.
No, I got that. Don't worry. I got that covered. Yeah, but I don't understand why all this gay shit starts coming out as soon as you're introduced. But fuck it, I don't care.
I mean, Sharnos is in the call right now, so it's not him in the chat.
Yeah, but there's plenty more. There's plenty more. Tiger, A-Raj, everybody. All right, well, guys, are you ready to get into everything right now? Episode 5. Are you all ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right, let's start with first of all the first week games, right? Well, this game is of interest to Sharnos and the 49ers, the Tigers team. Luke's team, right? First of all, Varrock won the game. They finally won their first game of the season. It's been I want to say it's been coming, but there were 2 out of the 3 games, 2 of them was so close. But they finally got it. After going 0-3, they're now 1-3. They got their first win on the board. And a general description of the game: Varrock cruises to a victory, and it looked like they had a solid game plan from the start. Instead of being known for being a second half team, it looks like they had a solid game plan from the start. There was only 1 turnover in the game. Is that correct? Only 1?
There was one at the beginning. I think one of the.
Yes,
first
that
drives,
was the only
that was it.
there was surprisingly only 1 turnover that game, and basically Varrock built a game plan around that first turnover, the early one, and just capitalized on it. And can I first of all, Sharnos, I want to say that, and along with a lot of other people who have agreed with me, you had carried this game, especially on offense. It was near, I don't want to say flawless, but it was very close to a flawless offensive game. What do you think about that?
It was pretty fun, you know. It was kind of a relief that we won a game, but
Mhm.
I told them what we were gonna do was we're gonna get a turnover at the start of the game, and we're gonna score at the end of the half, and then I was gonna run out the rest of the clock for
Mhm.
like 10 minutes straight, and then that's basically what we did.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that well, your first three games, you guys were losing the first half, but then you would make like a comeback in the second half. Unfortunately, which did not translate into a victory. But this time around, like first half, you guys, had a much better first half showing and got the turnover, capitalized hard on that, and Dieter and his team Luke's team could not just come back from that. It looked like you guys ended up scoring in the first half, like towards the end of it. Looked like everything went your way this game, no?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty like there was only one turnover, which was weird because most games have been kind of like centered around the defense in this season. But
Mhm. Okay.
um,
And can I also say, while you did have the MVP of the game, right? I think you were by far the MVP of the game. On offense for sure, defense probably as well, right? But I've also heard from your other teammates, Bud and Dot, who are probably like the two best players of the team after you, that they really were. Well, I remember they were saying that was not the greatest game of their life. Like they did not play well. According their words, not mine, right? Which is kind of contradictory, seeing that's the first game you guys actually won. Bud and Dot saying that they did not really, they weren't really proud of the way they played, right? What are your thoughts on that?
yeah, statistically, yeah, there was they had pretty low tackles. I think Byrne only got one, but he got.
But it's a crucial one, yeah.
Yeah, right. And I think the biggest difference makers in the game was Shady.
Mhm.
Was pretty big, and Joey on offense was really good. I mean, he didn't have any stats, he's zero stats, but it
Yes.
was good. He got a lot of yards and shit, so
Yes,
I was
CJ.
happy with that.
CJ also
They're
mentioned in the
pretty good.
chat. CJ also mentioned in the chat that Shady had a ton of clutch tackles in that game. Which I have to say that Burn, Dot, and Sharnos were obviously like the three pillars of the team. But it looks like Shady's like becoming a solid fourth man. Last game he had like a very few clutch tackles like throughout the game. Which shout outs to Shady. Like he's slowly establishing himself as a player. He's a big improvement since RFL died like 3 years ago when he used to play, right? Next, right, Luke, your team. Going into this game, like, how confident were you guys? Like, what was the mindset around like your team? Like, did you expect this to be like a very easy win, or like was it going to be a tough game? How was your team feeling like before the game, in the game, and after the game?
I mean, I can't really speak for anybody else. I've been saying for the last 2 weeks or so that I think Badiak's just been getting unlucky, and that I don't see any reason that they're losing all these games. So, I don't know. We almost turned them on the first drive, and then for whatever reason we switched to man defense maybe it was later in the game than I remember, but I didn't really understand why we did that. I thought our zone was working fine, but no, we came into the game probably as confident as we did for all the other games. I don't think that we were any more confident. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. I can't really say for like dead or dench.
Sure.
But Caleb kind of had a game plan coming in. I think everybody kind of ignored him.
I was gonna say, was Caleb neglected that game? Because it sounded like, after the game, yes, he did score 2 TDs, the 2 tries were given.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like Caleb felt neglected, and it was pretty obvious that he made it known. Like after the,
I think Caleb felt like he had an understanding of the game prior to it, and nobody really heard him out. And maybe he's right. I honestly don't remember too well.
would you say that's maybe because he only joined the team recently, like in the last 2 weeks?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe like he's not experienced with the team yet for his voice to be heard.
No, I think it's because Dit and Dench specifically they have their own way of playing the game, and they don't really like they don't really feel like they need to change their game. They feel like it's either their game is good or it's not, and if it's good they win, and if it's not they lose. At least that's kind of the vibe I got, because Dit was saying that he didn't really read what Caleb wrote, and Dench wasn't talking at all. Dench had some
Right.
stuff going on in his personal life
Right.
prior to the game, so he was kind of distracted as well during it. So
Right. Well, that's unfortunate for Dench. Another thing I wanted to ask you was, well, Luke, you as yourself, every single podcast episode we talk about how, well, Detroit and Dench are the main two people on the team, right? But I've also,
Right.
like, on the other hand, like, mentioned, well, what is your and Tiger's role on the team? Like, where do you fit into this team? What is your role, like, in terms of, well, honestly, everything in this team? Are you more of like a vocal leader, or are you more of like a fill-in? Like, what is your actual role on the team?
I just play defense, and then I talk when I think I need to. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I have. I've tried a couple times to give some different ideas, and they haven't been met. It's not that they've been received poorly. It's just that I guess we have a fundamental.
Leo's
Different
having a little
perspective.
smirk right now. I wonder what he's thinking
it?
is.
Listen, I'll tell you one thing.
I'm just saying, there's some trouble in the chat right now. We're getting our,
Really?
our
Fuck.
annual Mama Dench trade me. I'm fucking done.
Wait, what chat? What chat are you looking at?
In the Twitch chat,
In
we've
the
got
Twitch
Space
chat.
I don't
Fish
see
Alien
it.
in here going, he's saying trade
Oh, that's Dench. Oh, Spacey. Oh, that was Dench. Oh shit. Oh shit! I didn't realize Spacefish Alien was Dench. I had no idea.
So apparently, it's looking like Dench is averse to some of your comments. I have no idea
I
what.
don't know what it was. He
But
wasn't speaking.
How
in
would you
Twitch chat,
respond?
so
How are you
it-
gonna respond?
I think he's
to that?
joking around. I think he's joking
I'm
around.
responding.
Some
He wasn't
controversy?
speaking, so I can't really. Yeah, I assumed he was
Joking?
joking about it.
I think he's joking around, Dench. I think it's just
Come
like.
on, Dench didn't like when I say that. I don't mean it like
Joking?
Dench. There wasn't like any issue in game with him.
Dark.
He just wasn't
You want to talk about choking?
in Discord.
They're joking.
Oh,
They
joking.
joking.
Right. Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, I
My
had
bad.
joke-
My. All right. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Don't worry. Hey. Listen. This podcast, there's a lot to talk about. Anyway, Luke.
This is supposed to be no drama, man. Come on.
I don't know. Well, I mean, we're gonna be very analytical with like everything, right? But we can also be like a little joking about it. But anyway, like Luke, one question I also wanted to ask was, well, I remember in the first episode, like even the post-draft show, I remember quite a few people said that even I said that Tiger, because the scrims that were going on like 1 month ago, even before the RFL started, Tiger was like really killing it in the scrims, and we also mentioned in the first episode that he was gonna. Well, this could be a season where he just blows up. Well, it could be, right? But could be a season to establish himself as a really solid and powerful player. But has he really played up to the hype? Has he really met his expectations?
I don't think so. I think he's better than he
I
was.
mean, this question's for everyone, actually. This question's for everything. Everyone in the show.
Sure.
Like, what do you guys think? Like,
I think he's
Just a
better than
reminder,
he's ever been.
Tiger
I
had the
just-
second most tackles before this game.
It's true.
Right. Yeah, no, he's been good.
Okay.
I don't think he's been like the number one player in the league good. Like it's kind of seemed like he's gonna be really good during the scrims before the season.
has the script when you used to play in the scrims, right? When he was playing very good, have those expectations been met so far in the season? Because we're now like more than halfway down.
I didn't have those expectations for him to be the best player in the league.
Not
I
the
didn't-
best player,
honestly.
yeah.
Sure. I mean, look, I came in with an idea that we had no idea how good anybody was going to be, and I still kind of feel that way. So
Yeah. All right. Well, Dench does confirm.
I'll add to it if you want.
Sure.
I'll add to it. I would say that. So yeah, Grow killed it in the preseason, but Dench, the first few weeks of the season, and I think he'll admit too, like he had trouble with some pass in zone. The past 2 or so weeks, like last game, no one threw on him. At least that's what I've heard, and I've had it corroborated by other teammates. But the week before that, he played really well on defense. I think he's picked up, like, he's made improvements. Like, I'm not gonna hate on Grow, even though he's a huge crybaby and needs to get his life together.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
shots fired.
No, I just had to.
Drama free podcast.
Listen, it was a passive aggressive, so it's fine. It's fine as long as it's not aggressive.
Yeah. But anyways, no, I think Grow deserves credit. Grow's picked it up. Grow's been a solid number 2, number 3 guy on defense. Surprised he hasn't been thrown to that much. Grow usually is a decent wide receiver. That's kind of what he's been known for. But as a safety / corner, I think he's done a good job.
Well, Leah, since it sounds like you have a good like analysis on Tiger. If you had to grade him so far for next season, on the last 4 games, what would you grade him? If you don't want to answer, that's fine.
For the last 4 games?
In
I mean,
just
coming up
the
for
last 4
past-
games. And forget about the next 2 games that will
Well,
be
the
played.
last 4 games is the whole season. I give him a B+. I think he's
B+?
done a good job. Like, look,
Okay.
this is a guy who's been a C grade player almost every season.
He had an award
And
called most average
he's
person
played-
after him.
And
Right.
he's what, number 2, number 3 in the
No,
league in
it's Caleb.
tackles? No, number 2 or number. Well, yeah,
No,
Caleb's the most average.
second.
But like,
Yeah.
but yeah, but like number 2. But I mean, gross usually is a pretty average guy. But like, he's number 2 or number 3 in the league in tackles. It's not all because he's being thrown on the Paco effect style or Nick Narnia. Like he's made plays.
Yeah. I think one last question about your team, Luke, is that who, where, how the fuck is Spotter Juan? Like, what is he
Hopefully
doing on
dead.
your team? What, oh, Jesus Christ. Leo, family friendly, come on! Family friendly, Jesus Christ!
Just analyzing.
That's an announcement, hopefully dead? What kind of announcement is that? Maybe dead in the sense
It's a
that...
meme.
Alright. But
I'm not
Oh.
the person to ask about Splitter One.
no, but like, what has he been doing? Like, he's signed on
Nothing.
your team, right? But
He doesn't. He's just
is he ever
comes
gonna
and
show up?
chatty.
It's like Diesel.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I think Diesel has a better chance of showing up than Spode does at this point.
Okay, fair enough. Also, just one thing for the viewers that if
That's
you
3. The tip is gone. Hashtag just tip.
just for the viewers, if you think the background music volume is too loud, just let me know. I'll turn it off. And also, Dench does confirm it was just a joke. All right.
I figured.
All right, next up is YMCA. Well, listen, how many bros? But I just call them the YMCA because it's easier. How many YMCA against the Porky Warlords? First of all, I want to start with Badiak's team, right? You guys are on a loss streak now, and
It's 2 games. Like,
right,
no,
but it's 2 games in a row now.
No drama.
This is analysis. What the fuck?
No, I know. I'm telling Badiak.
Oh, yeah.
No drama.
Yeah, no drama, guys.
Go ahead.
PG-13. PG-13.
Go
Come
ahead.
on.
Go ahead.
All right,
Go
but
ahead.
all right. So, compared to the week before's game, right, the episode 4 game, I guess, right? Tilt wasn't at the game, so yeah, week 3.
Yeah.
So, Tilt couldn't make the game, so Sirius was put into QB. Kind of unorthodox, but it had to happen. Last week, Tilt actually showed up to week 4, right? But surprisingly, from what I've heard, Sirius and Tilt were the ones who were practicing QB, but all of a sudden, you were put in QB, which came off as a surprise. What happened there?
I mean, first of all, I'm not sure who your sources are there, but that aside, me quarterbacking was not my idea. I didn't push for it. It wasn't Sir's idea even. It came from Tilt. It was his suggestion to put me in a
Oh, it was
quarterback
Tilt.
he
So it
thought
was
would make the
Tilt's
offense
suggestion,
better.
Yeah.
right?
And he came forward with that like Friday, the week before the game.
Can I ask why?
Like-
Like, do you know why he suggested? Because
I
he's a
asked
very
Tilt why as well. That's what he told me. He thought the offense would run better with me.
Really?
the
He
shots.
told me a separate answer. He said that he was tired of hearing complaints about people on the team not getting the ball enough,
I
and he
mean,
said,
I
"Well,
was a part of
Badiak's
this
better at
conversation,
spreading the ball
too.
around,"
Like-
and so
yes.
and I get that because you are better at spreading the ball around, but like he said he was tired of playing QB for now, and he's right. He's not a negative at wide receiver. He's really good.
That's
So
a.
he figured it was why not let Badiak play instead. So I mean, it makes sense.
Hold on,
I
let me.
mean, from taking myself out of this, it is if Tilt's a like objectively good runner, wide receiver, and I'm a good quarterback. It
Yeah.
does make sense on a level to put me at quarterback, let Tilt be out there instead of putting him at quarterback and wasting an asset.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But anyway, as far as continuing the question, like, we did deliberately keep that under wraps. Like, we were going. I came into the game, like, I was planning to get off a first play where Tilt lines up where it's, like, plausible he could still QB and take advantage of that being a surprise for at least one play. But I think we got pretty damn close to scoring on the first play regardless, so you can't be mad.
A doc actually didn't mention one thing. So from what I understand, there are 2 reasons why he gave you the QB. First reason was that he was feeling too tired. I don't know what that means, but anyway. The second reason was because, well, I remember
That wasn't
Doc.
one of the reasons.
That
No.
wasn't the reason at all.
No, Dark. You said
I
Dark.
said he was tired of quarterback because he was tired of having to deal with people
Okay, yes.
expecting to get the ball more.
Sorry,
Yes,
yeah,
you have to make everyone happy and all that bullshit. It's like
Yeah.
babysitting.
Yeah, so yeah, that's exactly what I want to talk about not about keeping everybody happy, because I've heard from some like rumors / sources that, well, Buddy, do you mind if I say who the player in question is, like with the who tells
Yeah,
how?
go ahead,
Or it's
go.
Olaf, right? So Olaf has
Okay.
apparently made it
Oh,
clear, that okay, so Olaf and Teld apparently has had some kind of friction between them about how Olaf commented last episode that he did not get the ball enough. So it makes sense why the reason behind why Teld does not want to play QB, because he doesn't feel like he's that kind of player, like spread the ball out like that, right? Badiak, personally to you,
What's up?
is that a good
I feel like
reason?
what?
Can you hear me?
No, yeah, is that a good reason? I mean, respect to Till, because I'm sure like he's not making that up. I was not in the room for any of those complaints, and I know I didn't make any myself, so that surprised me. I can't corroborate it.
And after, I guess, your first QB game of the season, like, how did you think you played?
How do I think I played?
Yeah.
I mean, I came in with a plan. I felt I think I could have done better. There's other things I could have touched up on, but I got 9 total touchdowns. I am already caught up to 4th in the league in passing touchdowns. Like, Tilt played receiver for 1 game. He's 2nd on the team in receiving touchdowns. Like, our offense wasn't a problem. Defensively, like, that's not the question you asked. I think I could have picked my game up there quite a bit, but I mean,
All right.
we were everyone on the team was comfortable with my performance. Like, we didn't second guess that decision at all.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. Moving on to 4K Warlords. Now, this is like Dark. I think like on the show, in the league right now, the 2 hottest players right now coming off of last week is you and Sharnos. Dark. The reason why I think you're coming up hot, no homo. Oh fuck me. Who just left? All right. I need to like fix this shit up.
Luke will come back in. He'll come back.
All right. Anyway, so Dark, the reason why I think you're like I'm not gonna say upcoming, but like you're having a surge to become a potential MVP candidate, right? And because for a start, right before the season started, there was like a lot of talk about who's gonna be the QB for your team, and then like you guys responded by saying it was gonna be either Barone or Diesel after your first crim, even after your first game,
Right.
like Barone was a QB, but then after I think in week 2. That's when you started QBing against the 49ers.
Yeah.
And that was a really impressive victory, because it looked like 49ers were going to be like very, very powerful. But you guys beat them very handedly. And you were the QB of the team at the time. And then week 3, sure, like, you played a decent game until like the last 4 minutes of the game where shit just went
Right.
loose, right? But you still managed to
Yeah.
clutch the game and got another victory. So at this point, you guys are 2-1. And then last week as well, I think you played a very solid QB game. And, like another good QB game in the bag for you, right? And now you guys are leading. You're number 1 in the league after week 4. So is it safe to say that Barone and Diesel are no longer, are they out of the picture now for QBing? Are you now the main quarterback of the team?
I wouldn't say, they're not out of the picture at all, because I can't run for shit. Tilt and some other people are saying like, oh, you're not that bad running, but like I don't think, unless I'm like 10 yards from the end zone, like I can't run the fucking ball.
I think you're pretty bad at running, man.
Thank
I
you.
don't think you're good at running
I
like
appreciate
Diesel
that.
is.
Can I also ask? I don't know if Diesel has showed up to any of your practice or anything like that, but
Hashtag
like,
Kristen.
is he legitimately drunk when he runs?
Diesel? No, I've seen him drunk when he runs, and it's not the best sight.
Like for a defender, on the offense. What's
on offense.
on off?
offense.
Okay.
Yeah, but Diesel when he's sober when he runs is.
All right, fair enough.
A man can hope, but anyways, no, like. So I mean, if we can get Diesel to show, like that's great. I don't think we're gonna not throw in Diesel sometimes quarterback shows, because I think the added dimension of running the ball would be nice.
Actually, I just a comment from the chat from Dench that quote, Leo runs like a man with a fist up her ass, quote.
He's correct. Yes. Yes.
Could you explain to us that analogy? Well, yeah, I guess an analogy.
Yes, I guess Dench thinks that your boy runs like there's something up there that's kind of
Up there, right.
dislodging my cadence.
So why don't you just get rid of it? Why don't you just remove it?
I think
I don't know. I need Dr. Luke, the nurse, to come in.
I think you run
Proctology.
Dr. Luke to remove
I
the
think
fist
you
from
run
mass,
like
yes.
an Ashkenazi Jew, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I got you.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude, I run like this. I run like those Turkish people who are Jewish who like climb on all fours.
That's not
I've
what I
never
meant.
seen that before.
Hold on, what the fuck are
But
we
it's okay,
talking
it's fine.
about?
That's off topic.
J-
We're
j-
gonna
j-
stay-
j-
I promise
You know
you,
what
Raj,
I-
that
Hold
we
on,
stay
no, I
topic
don't.
For once, for our team, and we're gonna stay on topic because we never talk about our team.
Okay, no. Trust me, I have a lot of other
I got
questions.
you, A-Rap,
But
I
can-
got you.
Some taser.
But can I just say that like when all I heard was Jewish and on all four legs. I mean, okay, whatever. You know, let's move on. Let's move
Whoa,
on.
Jewish
whoa,
people
whoa.
are quadrupeds.
Okay.
But anyways,
This
to
is
answer
true.
the question.
Yeah, right. Answer the question. Right.
We're comfortable with me passing the ball. I like passing the ball. I think I'm doing a fine job at that. Especially last week after we sorted out the route running shit, like that made things much easier. But when it comes time to run the ball, like, you know, last week I got criticized for myself out on fourth down to put Barone in to run at half field. Like, I'd be retarded not to do that. Like, we're gonna do shit like that. And
Yeah.
sometimes in first downs, even we like to put in Newt at QB for a runner, at least do a read option. So like, it's fine. Everyone's comfortable with everything going on. We're spreading the ball around. I think everyone on our team has at least 4 receiving touchdowns, excluding Barone and Diesel, obviously.
Okay, so it sounds
And
like
me.
now that you mentioned that, right? Like I think you would fit on to Harmony pretty well because it sounds like you know how to distribute the ball well, like when it comes to passing, right? I feel like like this problem like Olaf
But,
especially
yeah,
had.
Oh, the trade.
Man, can you give me a trade for Badiak and Dark?
Stop.
Us
Badiak.
boys who like to pass and don't like to run, stick together. I'm not gonna smear campaign Badiak.
But
Okay.
actually, Leo,
My
you're
mate- My mate
actually-
played well.
Actually, didn't we already pass the trade? Yeah, we passed the trade deadline. It was week 4, so it's too late.
so I can't play in this league anymore.
So yeah, you
Okay,
can't
gotcha.
bullshit a trade
Put
in
that one to
now.
bed. It's okay.
Okay.
Next,
Next,
Dench did ask a question. Where is Greg? So I moved to my room
who the fuck is Greg?
just so no one would have to see naked Greg.
Greg
Okay.
James here.
Sorry.
All right,
I'm
anyway.
sure, I'm sure you wanted to, but I didn't
Should
want
have
to.
streamed from the basement.
Or anyway, the next thing I want to talk about was Leo. Leo, alright, so right now, Portcars are by far the #1 team in the league in the standings, right? They are 3-1. Right, and, well, first of all, credits to A-Rush for running the team well, to be honest, like,
Absolutely.
really, like, credits to him, I think I don't know what exactly happens behind the scenes in your team, but from what it looks like, like, A-Raj has been, like, a very good leader for you guys, and, now you guys are on a 3-game win streak now. How much do you think A-Rog's leadership has, elevated the team? How crucial do you
I
think
mean,
it is?
so A-Raj, one thing that a lot of people have hesitated with when they are owners is like they don't like to make changes because they're afraid it's gonna offend someone. Like A-Raj, after the first week where our defense just kind of sucked.
And he punched a hole in the wall.
Wait,
That
what?
shit made-
I'm
no,
just
no,
kidding.
no, no, no. That was like
Jesus,
4 years
okay.
ago.
Gee.
Forever ago.
I'm
Don't
kidding.
get started.
I'm kidding.
But no, I mean, the 10 minutes before the game before, we sat there and we set out the defense and the offense, and we quickly rotate. We make sure everyone gets playing time, which is nice. Great, it's not that hard because Diesel and Barone don't show up that often. But like, it's not a situation where anyone's gonna get mad. We got CJH all around, wonderful swole guy.
Nice guy.
A-Rod
Yes.
just wants everyone to have a good time and wants to be competitive, and we're doing that. And part of it is because he's made changes when necessary, and he's not afraid of offending anyone because we're not going to freak out. So I think it's been huge. And the big thing too is like, A-Rod just decided to put himself in a position where he's not comfortable playing safety, and he's done a good job. I think everyone on our defense in the secondary would agree we kind of sucked, but like, besides last week, like, we've all done a really good job on defense. And A-Raj is a huge part of that, and specifically Waldy too, because he's been really good in the corner.
That's good to hear. Now, like, this is a question more generally for your team, like, to your team as a team, right? As a team, my own opinion, right? You guys were able, apart from the first. Wait, actually, who did you play in the first week, which you lost? It was against Harmony. Harmony, right? That's when. Okay, that's when you guys lost. But all right, so game 2, like against the 49ers, you guys won pretty convincingly. Game 3, it was. I mean, you guys were winning until the whole drama started, like in the last 6 minutes, and you guys just about clutched it. right? You guys clutched it with the credit to CGH for that, and I feel like CGH like has become like he might be. I don't want to say silent, but he's more silent, right, than most of the teams players on the team. But he's become like such an integral part of your team, especially in the game where you guys clutched in the last throw. He was the one who caught the ball and he fucking ran all the way in with just 12 seconds at the perfect timing. I mean, 1 second too early, then game could have gone out the window. Who knows, right? And then like the last week's game as well, like you guys won that pretty handedly as well. It's I mean, from what it looks like, just looking at the way you guys were winning the games, I'm willing to go as far to say like it looks like a winner's team right now. A team of winners, right? And like, what do you think is the ingredient to becoming like, well, a winners team?
Well, we're good at defense, but I think it does feel like we've won games convincingly. But if you look at the scores, like, we're not. I mean, I'm not gonna shit us because we deserve to win those games, but like, the scores are a lot closer than they. We're not doing a good job on XPs and in the like red zone sometimes, and that's mostly on me. But like, defensively is the reason why we're winning games, because we keep almost falling apart at the end there. But the reason why we haven't is because, number one, in the first half we built up enough of a pad through turnovers, stopped XPs, etc., where there is a cushion. But also in the second half, even as the offense starts to wane down, because generally you see our games, it's the offense slows down, the defense just stays the same.
I see.
That's kept us going. I see Badiak's got some smirks and some,
What is Badiak? What is going through his head right now?
Being pretty interested right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I was smirking at you.
All right. Well,
I was watching Luke watch Badiak, so.
The fuck?
No, I was smirking at you. I wasn't smirking at the chat.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Well, don't worry. Like we're definitely gonna talk more about like every single team, like towards the end of the podcast when we're making predictions. Right? There is still analysis to be done for all 4 teams, but we'll stop it right there, and we're now gonna talk about more like general issues in the RFL. Right. The first one I want to talk about is the reffing quality, because in the last podcast we talked about the reffing quality, and well, week 3 reffing I don't think was like good. It was definitely not good. It was below average, and there was a lot of complaints, but on both sides, both of the referees and on all teams as well, right? But, well, on a good note, last week in week 4, it was, it looked like it was way better, and I'd say it was good as well, right? And shoutouts to Caleb, Arosh, Tiger, Sharnos, and anyone else that missed out for, like how well the reffing went last week. I want to bring this up again, though, right? Because personally, I'm still scared that RFL might just randomly go inactive. If a few people lose interest, it's like a domino effect, like it's everyone else starts losing each other and boom, like the league's dying again, right? And one of the reasons for inactivity is the refereeing, right? Is there any other incentives we can give the referee to make sure there are referees for every game on time? For one little suggestion I had like last episode, right, was that if 2 teams are playing and then there are 2 teams which are off during this game, right? I feel like it should be their responsibility to send referees, and we should keep track of like how many referees and how many referees like the other 2 teams actually not volunteer, but like which one of these players like actually show up, and we keep like a tally chart of like which team sends the most referees and which team doesn't, like sends the least. What do you guys think?
How do you enforce that?
You can't enforce that. No. It's not an enforcement thing. I'm talking keeping it like a chart of like which team sends the most referees.
Gentleman's agreement, I guess. But like...
Sorry, I should clarify. Sorry, I should clarify. I should clarify. I'm not trying to enforce anything. I'm saying like we should keep a track. We should keep a track of like which team sends the most referees and which sends the least referees. Because then we can it'll like. At that point, it's like data, and we can like look at it and think like, well, this team's being fucking assholes. They're not sending like they're.
We're gonna be mad at them, and then they can rig their games.
Well, we can put pressure. Well, I don't know what we can do, but we can say, like, for example, right?
You give them a really fast Chavry sack clock.
I think it ultimately ends up making things worse, because what you have is you'll have a team who isn't contributing as much for whatever reason, and then everyone wants to scapegoat them, and then those people are pissed off, and you create a bunch of division and people who just don't like each other beyond what we already have. I don't think like if you were gonna have some sort of like punitive measure, that's fine. I'd actually be more like I don't think there's anything you can really do because we don't have
Yeah.
people coming in. If we had a net positive growth of people into the league, then we could enforce like not rules, but things like that. But ultimately, I'll be honest with you, Chuck. I think that the RFL falling into inactivity is inevitable as long as we don't have a positive growth. It's just going to happen eventually. It always happens.
Well, okay, I'm going to say that's a very pessimistic way of looking at it. I think
I'm a very pessimistic guy
right.
when it comes to RFL.
I'm just trying to deal with a situation like RFL has like historically had, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to make sure that like at least in the foreseeable future, like RFL goes. And I think one thing to clarify is that I'm not saying what we should enforce. I'm saying we should keep track, just to keep track as like data of like which teams like sense how many, right? And then how you guys would enforce it, that's another discussion. Like maybe like someone can say, well, let's start doing quotas and let's make each team. I'm just giving an example, don't flip out. Like if we can like, oh, this team isn't like motherfucking, they expect people to come to ref their games, but they barely send any refs from themselves, right? So we should make this team send at least one ref every week. Like how we want to solve the problem is another discussion.
The thing that gets me with that is like in reffing in general. I'm sorry, but like it's not as though we have like a small selection of refs to choose from. Like we've turned RFL into a spectator sport where we have a game between two teams and most of the other two teams show up. Like we don't have to like scrape by with the first three people that appear. It's like I'm not entirely sure how we find ourselves in a spot where we're stuck with subpar refs when there's other refs readily available. I mean,
it seems like the issues we've had with reffing has just been people who want to ref who just aren't good at it yet. Like, well, they have to learn at some point, though.
If I could throw in a third point here, I think we're missing. Like, it's not. No, we don't have enough refs because like there's people like fucking grow or whatever in the silence, and I don't expect it to be that bullshit where like if you're on council you app rep or you're off now. You know,
is that actually valid?
I mean,
like,
you should be reffing.
I can't tell if that's a meme or not.
Like, kind of a meme because Dit was telling. It kind of goes back to like in the preseason when Dit was.
Yeah,
saying,
I remember.
Like,
yeah.
Because Sharnos wouldn't scrim, and he should be off the council or something.
Yeah, that
like,
okay. That's stupid. I just want to say that's actually stupid. Yeah.
But no, like the reality is, it's been a long time since a lot of people ref. Like we keep putting people at the wrong jobs, and people who are doing jobs aren't paying attention to the right things. So like if you're a field ref, you probably shouldn't be staring at the stream. And this is not I mean, this is not a direct shot at you, even though this is something that you do. Like, you probably shouldn't be staring at the stream, you should be making calls. The big thing is you don't put the most inexperienced person at line ref. Line ref is not the easiest job. It's the easiest job to do if you're
Wait, which one are you talking? Who are you talking to?
Else. Line ref in general. The big thing is line refs.
Well, no, about the field ref.
No, in games. The field ref thing, you're not. I'm not specifically you. Though you are one of the main culprits.
Well, hold on. So you're talking about me with the field ref thing?
The field.
That you need to stop looking at your stream is what he's saying.
There's been an abundance of people usually. So the first thing is we need to have the streams. They're good for the league.
Right. Well, hold on. Just
they have been a bit of distraction at making calls, and that's obviously happened.
Just to tell you, I actually don't look at my stream at all when I'm streaming and being a field ref, right? I only look at the stream when there's a booth or like a challenge. That's one.
I believe that.
Right.
But then in general, the calls need to come out quicker though.
Yes. Okay. Maybe. I do need to type my calls in faster.
Because there's been things where it's like I've seen a ref next to. There's a specific play that CGH was really pissed about. I can't remember what the fuck happened, but like I threw CGH the ball and like someone was like dead ass like 3 scores from CGH was ref and like just didn't make a call and then like 30 seconds later suddenly goes, oh yeah, it's D. It's like, dude,
that's been like the whole season. Refs not.
And the thing is, it's like when you add up those things over a game, like you're killing minutes off the game, and that's bad for both teams.
Yeah, I agree.
But the thing is, it's like compared to how reffing was before, this is all minor problems. Like reffing's not bad.
No, reffing's not bad.
We need to not put the line refs cannot be the people who are inexperienced. That's the one thing that's been egregious.
But they have to learn.
The clock has been shit. Yeah, but they have to learn. But the thing is like you can learn how to ref. I think the easiest ref spot to learn initially is the second field ref. Let's look at these eye rolls. Badiak's getting harassed in the chat.
Anyway, waiting for my turn to talk because Dench is throwing some things up.
He's throwing shade at you. I'm looking at it too.
I mean,
I can't see it.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's go for it.
He's not being subtle. I mean,
no, he's not.
I get what he's going for with the no calls. Like, my position, I know what game he's talking about. It's the same one we're talking about with
Yeah.
like line refs.
Week 3,
and
yes.
We know who we're talking about. I'm not gonna throw him under the bus again, but like, my stance there, and I talked with Leo about this, is like if I'm not in the best position to make a call and there's a ref 2 squares away, like I'm not gonna put up another call and 1-for-1 like dispute him because I trust that ref to be in a good spot to make the call.
No, but
like,
that's that's wrong.
Field where there's a catch point and they call a D, and I'm like 12 squares away, and I see a miss. It's like.
No, that's wrong.
You're
Okay.
still meant to
Hold on.
make a
Let me just make a point. Right?
I think
So
line refs
no,
can
listen
stop
up.
with
So
the call.
there are 3 referees.
Sure.
There are 3 referees in the field. There's line ref, cam ref, and a stats guy, I guess, right? The line ref, I'd say like he doesn't have to make the call because he's maybe too far away from like the pass. Right? Line ref has less. He doesn't have to, but if he does see it, he has to make the call, right? But the other 2 people in the field, it doesn't matter if you think the other person might be closer. You type what you saw anyway. If you think you didn't have a good angle,
have faith,
yeah.
You're gonna have
Yes. You gotta put a call down. Put a call down, and then afterwards you can say, "Oh, I think you were closer. We're gonna go with you," or we can say like, "Well, maybe boot it," or we're gonna go with what the line ref thinks. If he doesn't know, yeah.
I mean, this might be a conversation in ref calls where it's like in that particular case where we're talking about you, me, and Loaf here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The thing is, if I make a call that goes against what you say, we then go to Loaf, who doesn't have a view at all, and we sit here
then
for like
we
10 minutes, and the correct answer here would be just go with the guy who had the closest call, which is where I'm coming from with this. Like,
So
maybe
my
I'm handling this
basis-
the wrong way. I'm perfectly willing to admit that.
Yeah.
I'm just,
But here's the thing.
My gut feeling would be the only thing that I would suggest would be like, yeah, I get the thing like you give the person who's closer to a chance to make the call, but it's got to be like you have your call typed.
Yeah.
And you wait like maybe a half second to see if they're gonna call it, but if they don't call it and you feel like it's down, you gotta call that shit.
No, I don't think so
Besides
at
that,
all.
like,
I don't.
Well, giving someone a chance to make the call who's closer is fine, but like it's gotta be like
I don't think you should
a half
like.
second, but not like wait forever because once that happens, you've killed so much time off the clock that it's.
I personally don't think you should wait for like the other person. Whatever you see, if you think you saw it, type your call out. That's it. And then afterwards, you can deal with who was closer. Like whose call was like I don't know whose call was better. You can decide after that. But like okay, for example, right? Just because one person A might be closer and person B is like away, right? It doesn't mean person A is always gonna get it right. So you need to be there. Like if you saw something differently, then at least it's a tie. It's a tie then, right? So like if the person A who is closer like gets his call wrong, there needs to be always like another person who might get a different angle and can potentially get like the right call. So then like teams can challenge or there needs to be like some kind of like opposition anyway. And most of the 60-70% of the time you get the right like both field ref and stat get the right calls anyway. But the remaining 40%, it doesn't mean just because you're closer doesn't mean you're always gonna get it right. Which is why I personally think it doesn't matter like if it's closer or farther away. Just try to call in whatever you saw. Forget what everyone else thinks. If you had a good angle and if you think you saw it, put your call down. Don't look at anyone else. Just put your call down. Debate about it later after that. Debate afterwards.
But I will say, so one thing I was thinking of is, it's not necessarily activity that's a problem. It's just making sure that everyone knows their role and it's properly doing the role. But one thing that has really improved, besides just having sheer number of refs available, is there's been a lot of fuck-ups, but like people have gone out of their way when they're reffing to go back and take the time to make it right, compared to the past where like if you have like Spode or like fucking Shaver Barone as a head ref, where they just kind of like get upset if someone says like, hey, this is kind of fucked up. Like people have gone back to make sure it's right, and that's at least a sign that like, okay, we've all kind of aged so bad. I would take this over F seasons we've had any day.
Oh yeah, same. So, I would as well.
I'm not gonna complain too much.
Yeah. A little thing as well, behavior checks. Okay, so the liners we're talking about Olaf, right? I think this isn't really a major problem at all. Nowhere near. Well, it is a little problem, but Olaf has already. I don't agree with this, but Olaf has said since that game that he's not gonna ref any more games, which I think he said every game.
Oh god.
But that's like this is like the I don't see it's like the start of something, but come on, man, like you can't like as a
No,
player.
that's ridiculous.
Everyone knows like RFL has like has had historically ref problems, right? You can't as a player go out and say, oh, I'm not gonna ref any more games because my ego was hurt or like people are bitching too much. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
people do bitch a lot to referees because they want to win. I understand that, but at the same time, I'm not saying you should like take it like a bitch, like how when they bitch at you. I'm saying I don't think saying that I'm not gonna ref any more games is like a good solution. It's a terrible. It's just like
It's dumb.
Yeah,
I
just-
will say, I want to bring up something that Dench just said in the chat. So, like, we were talking earlier about, the line refs, something, people need a chance to learn how to ref. What if someone who didn't ref much because he didn't really have much for presence, like when the RFL was, kicking it 3 years ago? He doesn't have confidence in his own calls, and he doesn't trust himself. Like, that's exactly what Dench said, and it's true. And that's what people call him out on. And the problem is if you take it as a personal attack, you don't get better at it, and you don't alleviate the problem. And you definitely don't alleviate the problem if you just say, I'm not going to ref ever again and pull a fucking shav. Like, you gotta, like, it's not always a personal attack.
Mhm.
I mean,
Well, just I think
let me
we
add
have
on that a bit.
sure. But after that, we have to move on.
I got you. I know. Like, this isn't great content to just linger on this forever. I'm a bit sympathetic to Loaf because I was in that call, and I know what mistakes he made. I know the flag is something we mentioned. Like, he probably shouldn't be holding the flag in his hand on the 2-yard line, and I can't make a call because of it. But at the same
That was a
time,
free
like,
call, it's fine.
we definitely, like, he got harped on for that well past the expiration date for harping on it. He got a harder time than he deserved for it. And I don't think necessarily putting the onus on the refs to deal with being, like, I don't want to say harassed because it's not that serious, but, like, I think refs ought to be, like, more assertive in if you're getting a hard
warning.
time from players that you don't deserve, warn them. Like, you don't need to be patient. Like, we're grown-ass
fine.
men. You can expect people to act like adults. You can hold them act.
People don't ever get the
right?
warning, too, anymore.
Fine.
Like,
Yeah, people,
Yeah.
like I think referees need to
that
start
Nick
going.
Barone swagger. That Nick Barone, don't approach me swagger.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
But not like that, please.
Yeah, true. All right,
Yeah.
just moving on
Move
about
on.
the. All right, just to move on, like one thing I want to also mention was like the general behavior of the RFL. Just quickly touch on it, right? I mean RFL. Let's not lie, right? Before RFL died 3 years ago, like for a long time, we were known like everyone was like toxic as fuck. Especially even like, in the previous conversation about referees, we were known for being like toxic to referees, but toxic in general, just like to everything. I mean, it's a lot of the reasons because of Chavray, but everyone like you know what I'm saying, right? But I just wanted to say that this season, I don't think honestly like I also want to say Spode's not playing anymore, but. Even A-Oil, at the start of the season, it looked like he had a short fuse and he was gonna like blow up like any time now. But I gotta give it to him. I actually think like I'm not gonna say he's changed, but he's definitely toned it down a lot.
Mm-hmm. Nick's calm as fuck. I feel that actually because like he even every game he goes, man, people think I'm toxic.
Yeah, I just had
He was.
He was
Yeah,
very
he was.
toxic, dude. He was
Right.
so toxic back in like the
Oh
old
fuck
RFL.
yeah, I know. I mean, Sharnos knows more than anyone. Like,
Yeah, and like I think this season, like I know we had like our doubts about it, and I'm still not saying he's a changed man. I think potentially, I don't know, but so far I think he's shown like a decent decent conduct of himself. There's been some tussles here and there in scrims, but nothing too bad, nothing bad at all, I guess. Yeah, what do you guys like? Anyone else you guys want to mention about like in terms of behavior and on the field and out of the field?
It's better. I don't know what else to say. I think it has to do with
Yeah.
us being an older group now.
Mhm.
Yeah, even again, for all the complaints we have of roughing issues and whatnot, and people being assholes, it definitely feels better. At least on my end. I remember just 3 years ago, it was every week having people bitch at you about some ridiculous little thing that was just not important. And I don't know if that was because there were people trolling more often back then or what it is, but I don't know. It just seems better to me now than it ever has been.
Okay, well that's okay. We gotta move on fast because we're slowly running out of time. The last thing I want to talk about before we talk about like future predictions, right, is the MVP race.
Sure.
Right? So, in my opinion, like I've been saying for the last few weeks, I think the three leading candidates are, Detro, Tilt, and Sharnos. Just looking at the statistics, right? Like, these guys are like, well, they're killing it in some aspects of, like, the game, right? And even in their team, they've become, like, well, the main player, even. Right? Right? For example, okay, one thing, right? Looking at statistics, Sharnos has the most stats by a very, very long margin. Now, let me give you an example, right? The number one tackles in the league right now is Sharnos with 31. And the number two is, I think it's 29. Is that right? No, that's, fuck, sorry, my bad. Tackles, 30 for Sharnos. And the second most is 20 by Detro. That's a big gap. That's a big fucking gap right there. Right? And even in terms of like TDs, like, Detro and Sharnos like neck to neck. Like Sharnos 31, Detro 29, Dark with 26, Tell somewhere in the 19s. And yeah, like in a lot of these places, like you can see why Detro, Tell, and Sharnos is like still like the MVP candidates. What do you guys think about these three candidates so far? Or is there anyone else you guys would like to mention apart from yourselves?
I mean, I would start by like adding Leo to that conversation because
Yes.
since he's been the team's full-time quarterback, his stats have definitely caught up.
I was going to mention Leo as well. Like I was going to mention a few players that might having like a recent surgence, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just saying like Tilt, Ditro, and Sharnos. That's where we were with the MVP race like 2 weeks ago, and this is before Tilt missed a game and then changed positions. And Sharnos, like, I mean, if his team somehow comes back to like 3-3 and gets into the United Bowl, then I think it'll be Sharnos. But we're still in the spot where you gotta wonder if his team wins enough games for that to be. I kind of forgot Sharnos was actually like right there. What's up, Sharnos? Anyway, he's just providing so much analysis. I really don't know how much like Tilt projects because like he did miss a game. He's gonna be a good litmus test for whether we value total season stats or per game stats, and also like. I mean, we don't know what his stat lines are going to look. I don't think he's going to be getting a whole lot more passing touchdowns. I like Dit's case. If Lovican just goes to, like, 4-2 and they get in, like, he's got a pretty solid case. I think my top two right now would be, like, probably Dit and Leo, yeah. I think that's where it might be.
Detro and Leo, your top two MVPs. Yeah. Is that what you said? Detro and Leo is top two. Okay. Alright. That's surprising. You don't think Tilt is up there?
I don't think Tilt would want to put himself. It's also a matter of, I'm certain that we could play the season out a certain way that gets Tilt back up there. And if we go by per game stats, I think Tilt will have a strong case, but I don't suspect the RFL will head in that direction. Right. I think if Harmony gets in the UB, like, Tilt will have that conversation.
Can I also ask, like, when does the MVP vote?
Let me walk that back a bit. I do. It's one of those things. Harmony, like the thing there is, if I quarterback the rest of the stretch, which I expect to, my stats are going to catch up. Where Tilt and I have similar offensive outputs, and we're going to water down each other's case for MVP. Like that's what I think works against Tilt.
Right. Can I also ask, like, when does the MVP voting poll like actually start, and when does it finish? Like at what point of the season?
Week 6 in the United Bowl.
Like, it's usually after the season.
Was it? Yeah, is it after? Okay,
it's
I mean,
usually after the season.
After the UB or after the regular season?
It goes up the week of the UB, like up and coming in the week.
Okay, yeah. So I see. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think it doesn't matter what statistics you get. I think this is like more Sharnos' case, right? Like Sharnos might have like he's leading in a lot of columns, but he needs to also translate that in victories, right? Well, last week was like 1 win, and if Varag does, make it to the playoffs, right? I think Sharnos right now from this position, he could easily win the MVP, no?
That's what I was gonna say.
Well, what do you think, Sharnos?
Playoffs, I think there'll be a better case.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sharnos?
If my team goes 3-3, and I have the same
impact,
same rate of stats and everything goes well, then yeah, I should I think I should win it. Like if we actually go 3-3, I definitely think I should. But if we don't, like if we go 2-4 even, no, definitely not.
Yeah,
I definitely
that's fair.
not. Definitely no.
Yeah.
And if I don't, then I think if Lova King makes it, then Ditro should get it. And I think if they don't get it, then if they don't get in the playoffs, then probably whoever's next. I don't know yet.
Okay. So we've mentioned Dietrich and Sharnos as like the three main, right? Sharnos, do you see any other contenders slowly emerging? Like who could? Well, we still have 2 games left, right? No one knows what's gonna happen, but do you see any other contenders out of the blue just like showing up, like by the end of week 6, who might be like, an MVP contender, apart from Dietrich and Sharnos?
Yeah, I mean, if there's 2 weeks left, what is the Brewers' record now?
2-2.
2-2. If they go 4-2, then yeah, maybe Badiak. He still has those 6 inks plus maybe something more.
I got 8
get
total
another
on the
6.
season, pretty sure.
Ink City,
He's got to
bitch.
get another 6. It could be Badiak. 4-2, I'd vote for him. Oh yeah. Too
Also,
bad they won't. They're not going to beat us, so they're not going to actually finish 4-2. So
actually, one player, Sharnos,
kind of hurts the case.
one player on your team, Sharnos, that I wanted to mention was, could Darth be a potential candidate, like a surprise candidate, like by the end of the season? Do you see him maybe going off to the point, like maybe because he's had decent stats, right, in the last few games. He's definitely been solid for your team. But do you think he has the potential to really push it the next 2 games and become a surprise candidate?
Yeah, I mean, you never know. You might see him pick up the quarterback role and pick up his first offensive stat. But no, he doesn't mind. He doesn't mind giving time on offense, which is great. But yeah, I don't know. I think for you mean like general MVP or like?
Yeah, the general
defensive
MVP. Well, general
it's
MVP,
it's
offensive MVP. Yeah.
Bro, it'd be really hard to make an MVP case for no offensive stats, but defensive MVP, he's a god, dude. Like he's one of the best defensive players ever.
I remember when Doc said during their game that Dark Link said that Darth was like a really fucking good cornerback. I remember it was something along those lines.
Lockdown trade D was super impressive.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Before we go ahead with the future game predictions, what are some expectations from pre and post draft till now, which have changed for you guys? Anything that you guys want to mention?
I think the hate for CGH being the first.
Luke, stop fucking yawning! You're making the fucking viewers. Fucking hell! If you want to yawn, tilt the fucking camera away and do it. Jesus fucking Christ! This is fucking show business, alright? This isn't like playing on the fucking field. Well, this is his final episode on the show, guys. I hope.
Blacklisted. He's done. Get him out.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Do you remember the question I asked you guys?
Any of the hate for CGH being the first pick? And I told CGH that if I came in the broadcast, I would say this, that should be silenced. He's been really fucking good on both sides of the ball. CGH is not someone you think of as an MVP candidate because he's not a quarterback. And especially now he's playing cornerback. Let's think about that too. CGH is the first pick and he's playing cornerback, which is not the position everyone thinks of with it. And he's playing really well. And he's been vital on offense. So I would say definitely, CJH, no hate for that at all. I don't think you can hate on Sirs for what he's done. Yeah, you could say that they could flip the draft pick order for who he picked, but regardless, drafting Badiak and Tilt was not a bad draft at all. But yeah, I don't want to hog this. Apparently Luke died.
And he's probably yawning, motherfucking. I'm gonna fucking kill him. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, Luke, you're still with us, right?
I'm here.
All right, good. He's just yawning, fucking yawning. I'm gonna fucking kill. All
I
right.
had to find my wallet.
It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. All right. Anyway, all right. Now let's move to the final segment of the podcast, right? Well, actually, the second final podcast, second final segment, because there's a very last segment as well. Anyway, all right. So future predictions. Now we're gonna continue with like a little bit more analysis for all the teams, right? The next game that's gonna happen is Port K versus the 49ers, right? Will Port K defend their number 1 spot? And can 49ers break the Port Khazar 3-game win streak?
Yes.
I mean, the last time they played, it was not a good game for the 49ers at all.
It was a bad game. We started to come back at the end, and we if there was more time, we could have done it. So I think it'll be fine this time.
It was squarely on XP's.
Oh, you guys turned us over like a bunch at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, we blew.
Oh, I see.
I think it was like 8 XPs in a row. We had no good. And also we were really good at turning the ball over in the red zone. We've gotten better at that, but like I think absolutely this will be the hardest game of the season. Like,
ooh,
for like,
I mean they're coming off a loss right now.
Last time Dench didn't run at all against us, which we thought was fucking weird. And our run D is really good. Newt's been fucking crazy good at that stuff, which was also surprising. But like, I don't think like I'm not gonna walk in here and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna win the game. Like, I don't think we're gonna, I'm not gonna be, oh, we're gonna lose, we're fucking done. But like, it's gonna be hard. Like, this is easily gonna be the hardest game of the season. If we win this game, I feel like, I feel confident that we'll win the UB. But like, this is the game where I think, if there's a time when Lovakinje is gonna be firing on all cylinders, it'll be this game. So I look forward to it. It's gonna be fun. And we'll see what the fuck happens. Cause I honestly have no fucking clue. You know me, I have an opinion about everything, but I have no fucking idea what's gonna happen.
Listen, here's one thing to look at. I think the two players to watch for this game are Dark and Detro. The reason is because, well, Detro's already established himself as like, well, alright, let's make this. I'm gonna create like this little list, right? An A-tier quarterback, which I think Detro and Sharnos are definitely in this A-tier quarterback list, right? And Dark is like pretty much like on the border of it right now, right? I think if he continues his form, he could easily be like in that tier list of like the A-tier quarterbacks, right? I think the two players to look at is, well, Detro is coming off a loss, whereas Dark is off on like his team's on a big like momentum swing right now, and well, the two players to look for are to Dark and Link. One question I want to ask Dark: who do you click the most with the team on offense? Well, since you're a passing quarterback, who do you click with the most?
Oh, CJH. Easy peasy.
Okay.
Deep post baby. Yeah. No, CJH for sure, but a lot of that also has to do with A-Raj sets up through his routes in the zone. CJH for a lot of touchdowns. Also, yeah, I did catch that too, down to the Dark and Link thing. But yeah, no, CJH for sure. It's also nice, I will say, as weird as it sounds, like, having the option, I'm gonna sound like fucking Keegan so much right now. I'm gonna give High Man a boner, but like having the option to have the Newt run for me and potentially take a run on first down, second down, alleviates so much of the burden of like, oh fuck, I might have to run. Because like I'll run, that's whatever, but like I would much rather have someone else who can actually do it, and he's getting us big yards.
Right.
But I did want to give a shout out to Newt.
Right. I think, alright, we just got an anonymous source, who's not on the Twitch chat. He just messaged me, his prediction for the game. He said, if it's not going to be an offensive game, it's going to be a defensive game. I cannot state the name of the source. Does nobody get the joke?
Nobody gets it. Sorry, Chuck.
Badiak,
I don't understand. I don't speak Monty Python.
No, this is a Olaf. Fucking okay, whatever. Fuck it. This joke didn't work. Fuck this shit.
I guess we put a Badiak thing.
Yeah, when I fucking asked him, what do you expect? And he's like, if it's not going to be an offensive game, it's going to be. It's like saying
that's what I'm saying.
It's like saying if we killed him, he must not be breathing.
It's a Baronism.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's exactly it. Yes. One thing to look at is the last thing I want to talk about that game before we move on quickly. The defense is like I think the defense might actually be like a key factor for that game, because I mean on both sides you both have good QBs, but so I feel like it's like the defense's job to shut down the other QB now.
It's defense and XPs. That's whatever the game's gonna come down to. And honestly, it's what most games now in RFL come down to. Like
Yeah, pretty
XPs
much.
matter more than any other time by a mile.
Mhm. A lot of
But it
games
really
went
comes
off
down to
XPs.
how well can you stop someone on the wall, and can you, number one, contain a quarterback so they don't feel comfortable running, and number two, can you play zone in a way where if there's two people coming in your side, you can more often than not get a tackle and get it to third or fourth down consistently.
Okay.
Whoever drives third or fourth down more consistently is going to win the game.
Okay. Well, okay. Now, finally, predictions. Let's start. Well, we're not gonna do Leo and Luke, but we're gonna do me. Well, the two part of me, Badiak and Sharnos. Sharnos, who do you think is gonna win this game? Port Carthage against the 69ers.
Okay, thank you very much for your input.
think I'm gonna have to go with the Lova King, because Lova King and my team we have an alliance.
We do.
I was gonna say
Yeah, Chuck announced it last podcast.
that is true. That is. I don't want to mention this, but there's been rumors of some kind of. Well, I don't know if it's with the point of collusion. That's up for debate, but there's definitely an alliance. I don't know. I think we
No one
might
told
have
me
to get
about
the.
this.
We might have to get the RFL. We
Yeah,
might
we
have
are.
to get the RFL CIA to investigate this.
I'm already on the case.
No, Luke, you're on the team. You can't be on an
No,
investigation by
that's
yourself.
exactly.
What the fuck do you?
That's how it works in America. You don't understand.
Oh. Okay.
The only
Badiak.
person that can fire me is me.
Badiak, who do you think is gonna win? Sharns voted for the Lava Kings.
Okay. We can partly pretend that this is also because Khazard and Harmony have a counter alliance, but
Oh.
I've got to tip it to Khazard. I mean, just even from what I've heard in this chat when Luke was talking about like weaknesses in the Lova King's like approach to games, if Ditro and Dench, I don't know, I don't want to like put things on them that I haven't heard from them personally, but doing your game, quote unquote, and winning or losing by that is not a good way to approach Khazard. The strategy I pulled that got me 6 inks in week 1 against Khazard, they actively planned around that and completed pass into the wall against me. Like, they don't, you can't do that. I got 1 ink in that game. That was on the second to last play of the game when Khazard already had it put away. That doesn't mean anything. Like, if you give them something that they've seen before, they will give you something that beats it. And I mean, I might be jinxing this by saying this in advance and then giving Lovakungs time to do something about it, but if they don't, they're not going to like the result. So
Can I
give it
can I
to
respond to this?
Of
Yeah, go
course.
ahead.
Respond to this. We're talking about 2 of the most decorated players in RFL history. The third
I know.
being on your team. So, listen. I don't have to agree with them personally because it doesn't work for me. For it to work for them.
I mean,
I
you're
think
also
that.
on a 2-2 team, so it's worked for them half the time.
I mean, I don't think that's an accurate way of portraying it. We've had
I mean, I'm an
One
outsider. I'm
really-
only playing with the information I have.
right. We had 1 game where we started really poorly. And, huh?
I just love it.
Draw analysis.
It's super hot fire. That was really good. That was like the best one of the podcast. Keep going.
All right. Anyway, so Badiak, we gotta move really fast.
Oh,
Yeah, I got my prediction in. Go ahead.
Who did you say again?
Luke.
Mr. Khazard.
Khazars, okay. And okay, now myself. Now I have a brain and a heart who gets individual votes, right? My heart is
course.
goes more with like sentiment. It's more emotional. My brain is like a logic, right? It goes with logic. My heart says motherfucking who's it again? Port K against 49ers, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
My heart says Port K. Honestly, my heart says Port K. My brain says Port K as well. Because I think Port K is on a bit like a big momentum swing right now. I think they're gonna, and they also beat them last time as well very well. So yeah, I think Port K is like a very stabilized team. It's a very stabilized team. I think you guys like fill a lot of departments up, and yeah, I think Port K is gonna win. All right. So I guess 3 votes for Port K and 1 vote for Lava Kings. Alright, moving on to the next game. Varrock Rams against Harmony. Now, Sharnos, last week we were talking about Varrock Rams were 0-3, and we saw, like, you know, there's a small chance Varrock might get in, right? And you guys beat 49ers. You know, you guys beat them handedly, and you're 1-3 now. Is the playoffs hopes alive? How much do you believe in the playoffs, Sharnos? How confident are you that you can go 2-0?
Well, when we were 0-2, I told Liam said he, you know, I don't remember exactly what he said. He said maybe we had like a 5% chance to get in. I told him I think we have like a 3/4 chance, like 75% chance when we were 0-2. When we were 0-3, I thought it was about a 50% chance that we get in when we were 0-3.
And now for this game, what do you think? How do you feel?
Like 90%.
Wow.
Wow, okay,
I like
okay,
it.
alright. One person on the team I wanted to talk to you about was, so, obviously, okay, like, not to lick your boost too much, right? Like, obviously you went off last week as well, and you're like an MVP candidate, but who else on your team can, like, go off? Like, go off as in, like, who else can, you know, like, really elevate their play? Darth or Burn? I feel like Burn, I mean, he's solid right now, but he's definitely not reached his potential he used to have, like, back in old RFL, right? Who do you see else, like, on your team, like, you know, elevating their game?
Dude, Joey, Shady, Flash.
You mean Joey zero stats? Absolutely zero stats.
Joey bailed me out, dude, on offense. He bailed me out big time.
I see.
He got a lot of yards. He had some good ass routes, good snaps, no penalties. Not a single double snap the entire
Not a
fucking
single
game.
double.
Like, I couldn't believe it. It's insane.
It's crucial.
He's getting better. He's getting better.
It was just it clicked, you know, and yeah, Shady, Joey, Burn and Darth speak for themselves, you know, but you know, those guys, man, if Giggs shows up, oof.
Oh shit.
What about Burn specifically? Like, I personally don't think he's met the potential like back in the old RFL, right? He's solid right now. Do you expect him to, like, you know, is he slowly getting better to the point he might reach that standard, or?
Yeah, I think so. If he's like interested in it, then yeah, he will. And I think he's already is really good, you know. And Zombie, I didn't mention Zombie because he wasn't in like he didn't make last week's game, but he's also good. You know? But yeah, I just talking about like last week, like Shady and Joey like really stuck out, like from my perspective on the field.
Shady was very crucial to the game. He was very, very good. I'm really impressed with Shady with how well he's playing his role right now. He's becoming a solid fourth man for Varrock Rams. In Harmony's side, I just want to say that I'm sorry, but Harmony are gonna have to bring their A game, or they will have gone from being the best team in the league at one point at 2-0 to having their playoff chances heavily threatened from 2-0 to 2-3. Like, this game, if you guys lose it, there's gonna be so much pressure on you guys. And can I first ask, like, have you guys decided on a QB yet for the game?
We haven't had a conversation. We're going forward with the same plan we had.
Okay. And yeah, like, do you feel any pressure at all? Like, you know, this, like I said, the episode is crunch time. Is make it or break
Look,
it.
man, I mean, I get what you're going for. Like, I get that it's a big game, and the scales of who's getting into the playoffs and everything. It's the RFL. I'm not, like, having a heart attack over it, you know? We're confident. We can win. We're humble. We actually have to play well to win. Like, we'll have to bring our A game to win. Isn't news to anybody. It's not something you have to say I'm sorry before you say, you know?
Right, okay.
We know what we're doing.
Okay, well, let's get into the predictions for this game. Apart from Sharnos and Badiak, Luke, who is the winner of this game, do you think?
Boy,
Oy vey.
I'm gonna give it to the Rams because I think they're gonna want it more. They need to win that game more
yes.
than Harmony does.
I can actually agree with that. Like with how like it sounds like Sharnos is very, very confident about how he wants to get it, right? Leo, what about you? Rams or YMCA?
Well, like, kind of set me on it. Like, I definitely think, is everything's in the line. Shady stepped up big last week. If Sharnos is that confident, I think the win, but it's really going to come down to if Harmony makes more adjustments on defense and gets more stops and plays better on defense next week, because stopping Sharnos is not an easy task at all. And regardless of whether or not, Sharnos or Burn is QB, you have to account for at all times Sharnos, whether it be running, passing, or receiving.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's that confident and he's played that well, like, it's a hard task. So I am going to have to give it to them, but I don't think it'll be a fucking blowout game whatsoever. I really think this will be close.
Yeah. I also wanted to say that, yes, the Rams look very good, very hot for this game. But I remember the last time I doubted fucking Badiak and YMCA, they went 2-0, and it went from me laughing at Badiak at every show to, well, me not laughing at him anymore. So, you know what? Leo and Luke says both Rams. For me, my heart and my brain, my heart is honestly split. So 0.5 to Rams, 0.5 to Badiak, because my heart, not Badiak, fucking that's not the team. Your name, YMCA, sorry. Because half my heart, right. It's mainly because I don't like to doubt the YMCA after Badiak getting first pick, But yeah, my heart is split. And
just sorry.
No, you go ahead.
A little fun fact: there is still a universe where all 4 teams end 3-3. That's
gonna be such a headache.
That's why it should have been a 3-team playoff, baby.
Oh my fucking god.
That's the only agenda pushing it.
Oh god. All right. Anyway, my brain is going with the Rams though. So it looks like three people for Rams, but 3.5 for Rams, 0.5 for the YMCA. All right, now that the final segment of the podcast is done, the second final segment is done. Now for the final segment, a very short one, which is, I think Badiak already know who it is. How is the WRFL going, or the RFC? Does anyone have any information about what's going on?
Yeah, I have some info.
Okay, all right, new insiders. All right, let's hear it.
Let me pull up the Handsome Nipple Discord, because this is where I'm gonna.
Hold on, you're in their Discord?
I was added to the Handsome.
Oh my god. Oh, Leo.
It's called RS Assassin.
Luke, when I was given an invite to the server, do you know what I did? I ignored it.
I like how we invited you, Chuck. What the fuck?
I wanted it to be the inside man.
Well, hell no.
Councilman Darklink, apparently, of the RCF. I'm just gonna call it RSW to make Grow mad. Any info ever.
Fucking my fucking ass. Alright, so what is the insider news so far? How is the RCF doing? I guess our XFL, basically, right?
So Chavray has attempted to recruit every single person from the RFL to play on his team specifically.
Yes, this is true.
As we are all aware, I've said this before, I don't know if I said it on stream. Winning is too important for Chavray to sustain a league of rookies. So what will end up happening ultimately is he will just shit on all the other teams.
That is fucking, I don't know if that's actually completely true. Shav's gonna... But what the fuck is wrong with that dude?
He's trying to recruit Tilt to play
add on to this. He's trying to recruit Tilt, who's arguably the best player in the RFL.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, man, it's a league of rookies. It's all about growth and development. That's why I need you on my team. Yes, we need the guy who's arguably been the #1 person in the MVP race until this past week to be on your team.
All right, fair enough. Well, can we also make an agreement to, from now on, to reference this league? I don't know if it's WRFL, RCF. We're all gonna call it XRFL from now on. Is that an agreement?
I'm fine with that.
Or RFL division.
That was PK Mage's RFL, right? XR.
League, but,
I agree. Yes, I can make that agreement.
Yes, let's call it either XRFL or RFL D2. All right. All right, that's an agreement. Well, I mean, that is all we have right now to talk to you for this show. I wanted to try to fit everything into 1 hour, but I think like we had some good discussion on every single topic. It is a little bit over 1 hour, but that's fine. It's worth it to watch every single second. If you don't, you're a well, I'm not gonna say it. Anyway,
Gotta be nice.
now
Family friendly podcast.
let me play the ending theme song. All right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in to episode 5 of RFL Unnamed TBD. The name will be chosen soon. Just please fucking send some suggestions already of the episode 5 Crunchtime. We have Cavy. Thank you for your time on this show. Thank you very much, buddy.
Thanks
Once
for
again,
having me.
you're I feel like you're slowly establishing yourself on the show. Well done.
Rising star.
Right, and Leo Chase, thank you for your first appearance on the show. Looking smart, looking clean, had some very good analysis. Definitely hope to see you here like in the future as well.
Yes, yes. I would like to add, I'm gonna say it.
No! Ah! All right, kind of continuing on. Sharnos, thank you for your first episode on the show. Been wanting to have you on the show for a very long time since episode 1, but thank you for finally coming on. I hope you had a good time.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. And did I miss anybody?
No, you're good.
Alright, so, well, guys, thank you for watching the show, the RFL episode 5. I'm just kidding, Badiak. Any last words?
I have one question. Who is Sven the Finesse God on Twitch? His name and I
That has to be that. It's that guy who sounds like Baroma the fucking Lisp from that autistic ass.
No, you mixed up. You're mixed
RFL
up.
Longbone, whatever.
No, you've mixed it up. You mixed it up. Sven is a black guy. He sounds black as fuck. He's like JJ. Like, oh, what does that mean? That like that. You mixed up. You mixed up. Anyway, Sven is one of my fans. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching my show. We're gonna end it right here. Everyone, clap for yourselves. Everybody, well done for coming on the show. What a great show. Don't forget to tune into week 5 games. Very, very good games. And we will be back whenever 2 games are finished. Thank you once again, and have a good night, Mr. Have a good night, motherfucking RFL. Yes.
Badiak had a safety.
Yeah. Luke,
Badiak had a safety.
Forget about that.
And
Yeah, you hate to see it.
this is host Gaz signing off.